expect to interview an inter-county manager, but that's exactly where Cork boss Conor Couninhan was this week for his work. His professional life certainly putting the pressures of managing the All-Ireland champions into perspective.
I work with the St. Joseph's Foundation organisation involved providing services to people with special needs, and certainly, you know, families with children with special needs can, on very many occasions, be under an awful lot of pressure. And you know, the rest of us get up every morning to do our job. Very fortunate to have our full facilities with us, and not to have any worries that these people have. You know, you have to try and keep it in perspective, as you said, and certainly, I suppose, the work-sport balance is good from that point of view.
And Daniel Goulding, who scored 5 points against Kerry in the Munster final, man of the match in last year's All-Ireland final, he's out of the game.
We'll be monitoring that on a week-to-week basis. At this point, it wouldn't look, you know, it looks as if it's going to be 5 or 6 weeks. But look, you're just hopeful that things will come right. But from our point of view, in terms of management, and from the players' point of view, we've got to look at who we have now rather than who we haven't.
People are saying that Cork are always nearly coming from behind, giving teams a lead and then trying to reel them back in. I suppose it must have been very pleasing for yourself to see you getting off to that good start and getting ahead and being able to push on from there.
Yeah, well, I suppose particularly after Killian, you know, after our first half there and the poor start, you know, we certainly recognised that as an area we needed to get control of. And, you know, luckily enough, the last day it went quite well for us. Like, you know, in the earlier rounds of the championship, maybe against lesser opposition, you get away with it, but certainly, you know, against the likes of Mayo now on Sunday, you wouldn't get away with that. I mean, you know, we've played Mayo twice in the league, and in Cork last year and up in Castlebar this year. And they beat us on both occasions, you know, and certainly they've become very formidable under James Horan, very hard-working and a great team spirit and that sort of thing. So, you know, you just can't afford to do that.
Under James Horan, his first year in charge, they maintained their Division 1 status, they're Connacht champions, and people will see them going into this as the underdogs. Probably the pressure is maybe off them to a certain extent and on ye.
Underdogs, I mean, I don't go too much with that. I mean, you know, I think a typical example was that a lot of the players that are playing on both sides on Sunday played in the 2006 All-Ireland Under-21 football final, and Cork were hot favourites for that, and we know what happened there. So, you know, it's all about what you do on the day in the 70 minutes, and, you know, you have to be focused right for the game. And you know, we've even seen last week in relation to hurling, many people, you know, had written Waterford off, and we saw what happened there. It's the real serious stuff that starts now on Sunday, and, you know, it's the tempo will be up, the pace of it will be up, and, you know, if you can't rise to that, then you're not going to be there at the end of the 70 minutes. So it's a big challenge.
And don't forget, Mayo against Cork in the All-Ireland quarter-final is live. Erie and Shane Enright make way.
And that was a big disappointment, losing to Down. Down went on then to the All-Ireland final against Cork, and as I say, you know, we came up here quietly confident that we were going to beat Down. Things didn't work out in the day, and then you find yourself out of the championship. I think that was the 30th of July, and you know, going from a place where we had done very well in the previous few years, we had got to a lot of All-Ireland finals, and it was quite difficult to take then when you're out by the quarter-final stage. So we'll be hoping to go certainly one better anyway this year.
Michael Murphy has been named in the Donegal
for the months of August and September, but they tried to make the most of it.
Yeah, it was a strange sight now, having a few drinks at the Rose Tree. It's something I've never done before, and it was kind of very strange. But look, we enjoyed it. Maybe it was a break we did need. We look at it the positive way, and a lot of fellas had not much football to play after that, so they had great breaks, and we're mad to go for this year now. Maybe we were just thinking of the semi-final and looking ahead more than concentrating on Down in that game, and maybe just the attitude wasn't right in that way, and hopefully by getting that right now this year, it's just something we want to concentrate on, just take the games one step at a time.
Is there a sense there that you're kind of fitter, stronger? I mean, we're hearing reports that you're absolutely flying it in training. You know, do you feel fitter, stronger this year?
Things are good. We won't get too carried away. It looked like last year we're in the exact same position as we were. We'd beaten Cork in the Munster final, and we had great preparations coming into the quarter-finals, and we still got cut out. So we are going well. We feel that we're doing better than what we are last year, and that we're more prepared, and like that we're going to just focus on the next game, and we don't want to be thinking ahead of anything else and seeing what's around us. We just want to focus on that, so we won't get carried away at all and what people think or say that's happening in training. We'll just concentrate on ourselves and see how we're going to get on.
What do you mean now when you say you're kind of more prepared?
Yeah, we're just at the attitude, everything mentally as well. We just want to. That's the one thing we were saying. We just want to focus on the game. We don't want to just get thrown away by other things and the likes of the mentions of Kildare and other teams that are going to win All Irelands and how are we going to fare out if we're going to play them and stuff like that. We don't want to be thinking away to other things at all. We just want to focus on ourselves.
So with the Kerry players trying to focus more on themselves this year, how do they switch off from it all?
Switch off. There's different things. I do Twitter, I do different things going out for the old walks and stuff like that. I can go into my own bubble, I can switch off very easily. I can even at work switch off no problem if people are talking to me about football. It's kind of a thing you get used to, and I don't get hot and bothered about it, so I don't really struggle with that anyway.
A number of the Kerry players also switch off by watching Come Dine With Me Ireland. So
Well, I'm made watch it. I had no choice in the matter, so I have got into it, and I'm watching it alright on TV3 at the moment. But if I had the choice to take on, I'd take on Darren O'Sullivan, Marc O'Shea and Paul Galvin. The reason so is because I'd probably beat the three of them.
as you're on about Paul Galvin, obviously, he's, writing about fashion and stuff like that. Does he get a lot of stick?
Yeah, we do take the out of him. I saw an article about 2 weeks ago. I got a phone call from the lads. He was wearing sandals. Didn't go down too well for him, so he won't be wearing them again, let's say.
Would he come to the dressing room dressed like that for training, or...?
No, he wouldn't take a chance on it, no.
But they're glad Galvin is back with them again after injury. Tomás O'Shea is also back from suspension. They were two guys sorely missed at this stage last year. What do those two bring to the team? Does it just sharpen the focus and they're there automatically?
Yeah, it brings that extra bit of experience to the team as well, and exactly as you said, focus as well. And they're massive leaders, and they're fellas that you need on your team, and especially when it's getting hot and heavy in the last 10 minutes, they're the guys you want to see around, and they're the guys that be hopefully plug and carry out of any hole we get into. Hopefully we don't, but they're great.